Wondra sits in a jail cell. He is back in Idaho, accused of killing young Michael Vaughn.
You're pure evil. You have no heart. You have no soul.
Wondra is accused of murdering her then 5-year-old son in 2021. Would you think you'll ever get the answer as to why?
No, because there is no answer to why. Why would somebody hurt an innocent little boy? What answer could you give? What answer could you possibly give? How scared was he? Did he ask for me? Did he ask for Tyler?
Stacey Wondra has been charged with first-degree murder and second-degree kidnapping and destruction of evidence.
Michael Monkey Vaughn went missing from his Fruitland neighborhood on July 27, 2021.
This is a criminal investigation.
Now, more than 4 years later, in newly unsealed court documents, Fruitland police named 4 people they believed are involved in Michael's murder. Those 4 names are ones we've heard before.
This is Sarah Wondra. This is Sarah's husband, Stacey Wondra. This is Brandon Shirtliff, Adrian Lucien.
As for what these 4 people have in common, they were all staying at the Wondras' home when Michael disappeared in 2021. That's just half a mile from Michael's home where he was last seen. In the PCA, police pointed to video evidence they say showing Shirtliff walking around the neighborhood. They say Shirtliff helped move Michael's body in a duffel bag temporarily to his mom's home in Kuna before standing guard as they buried him in the Wondras' Fruitland backyard. Stacey Wondra told police the 4 hoped to sell Michael for $10,000 each. He says the idea came from Adrian Lucien. Idaho News 6 is now learning Lucien was arrested and released in Indiana in October for a traffic-related misdemeanor. Sarah Wondra is currently serving time in the Idaho State Prison System for unrelated charges. She's eligible for parole in early 2026.
Karen, is there any connection between the Vaughn family and the home where police had been searching?
No, we've heard this more than once from the family representatives and from the police department that there is no connection between the Vaughn family and the home where this search took place.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughn could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
An hour's worth of body camera footage showing Stacey Wondra FaceTiming with detectives and directing to where Monkey's body was buried in his backyard.
It's like right under that mound area.
It's right under the mound, about where at compared to the
trees?
A little, like, right to the right of the trees area. It should be, it should be a garbage bag.
Okay, what color is the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only had two
Is
colors.
the duct tape still gonna be over his mouth?
It should be.
Okay.
I didn't watch to take them off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
He claims he watched the burial happen.
Okay, how far down is Michael?
I don't know how far she actually dug.
And the she he's referring to, that's his wife Sarah, another suspect in the case. Stacey says Adrian, a third suspect, was also there for the burial.
Out of 300 homes, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the home where Stacey, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates Brandon Shurtleff and Adrian Lucien lived.
As Joe mentioned, a newly released probable cause affidavit filed in June lays out the interviews following Michael's disappearance. Again, during these initial searches, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the fence line of the home where Stacey Wondra, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates, Brandon Shurtleff and Adrian Lucien, lived. All four of those individuals have been named people of interest in Michael's disappearance. One of Michael's neighbors told police they saw Michael riding a bike outside of the Wondras' home the day that he disappeared. Another neighbor said they saw that same tricycle at the Wondras' home during a garage sale months before Michael disappeared. The Wondras initially denied any involvement, but then in November of 2022, Stacey asked to meet with investigators. The PCA states Stacey claims he was home the night Michael was allegedly abducted and saw Sarah carrying Michael into the house. Stacey allegedly told police it was Adrian's idea to take a child to sell for money, and they would get a $10,000 cut. Stacey claims Sarah told everyone to, quote, follow her lead. Stacey told investigators they took him to Brandon's mother's home in Kuna that night, where they left Michael overnight. Stacey claims the other three returned to Brandon's mom's house the next day and brought Michael back to the Wanderers' home in Fruitland. Stacey told police Michael was not alive, and Sarah and Adrian buried him in the Wanderers' backyard. 2 days after Stacey's interview with police, they executed a search warrant and excavated the Wanderers' backyard. The affidavit says cadaver dogs alerted to the same area where Stacey told detectives Michael's body was buried, but to this day, Michael has not been found.
Hey everybody, welcome in to Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. My name is Samantha. It is February 23rd, 2026. It has been 1,672 days since Michael's abduction. I've got some great news to share with you guys, but I'm going to come over here and see who's in the house. Mama is already here, and if you guys don't know who B Mama V is, that is Michael Vaughn's mom, Brandy Vaughn. So please, while you talk and chat, be mindful of that. Yeah. So we've got Miss K in the house, Hair Curlers and Crime, the best YouTube name on the YouTube streets. Thank you so much for being here. Connie is here. Nice to see you. Zane is here. Thank you so much for coming in, hun. We have Heather 1313 and Pretty Assessor is also here. Good to see you, love. I did go live early tonight because Monkey Mondays at the round table usually happens about 5 p.m. my time. So when we're done here, everybody can go over to Monkey Monday on the round table. Shannon's in the house. Welcome, our new moderator. Thank you so much for coming in. She is a good friend of Brandy. She lives over in Idaho. Thank you guys all for the prayers. Sarah, thank you for coming in. Missing persons around the world. So good to see you. Thank you, moderators, for coming on short notice today. I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to go live or not, but my weeks become very, very busy. Let's see who else is here. Kimber Lehman, thank you so much for coming in, love. Thank you for being a member here at Missing PNW. Another Connie is in the house. We've got Quiet. Let's see, Quiet here. Thank you so much for being here. She's got her coffee, or he's got his coffee, whichever one it is. Thank you so much for being here. Brandy says that today she is having a tremendously hard day, but definitely have some amazing support. So I'm doing okay. Love you. And that message was to Shannon. I hope you feel better, hun. Hair Curlers and Crime says, we have the best chat here. Everyone is so caring and nice. I love these humans here. And we do here at Missing PNW. We really love everybody that comes in. It's such an amazing chat. Let's see. Ashley Higgins is here. Thank you so much for coming in, hun. So glad to see everybody. Thank you for supporting the Vaughn family and supporting Michael Vaughn and myself. I know you're appreciated. Michael needs to be shared. His beautiful face, his beautiful smile. Pamela is here. And what is this? Renee? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you, guys. We've got a lot of new people coming in, which is great to see. That means the awareness that we're spreading for Michael Vaughn here at Missing PNW is being reached out. That is so amazing. I love it. We've got Criminal Med in the house. Good to see you. Mama says, thank you, Samantha, for continuing to share Michael's story. Well, I love you, hun, and I love Michael, and I am here. We're all a part of Monkey's Army. Purple Phoenix in the house. Thank you so much for coming. She's the one that let me know it's been 1,672 days since Michael has been missing. 4.5 years, you guys, is what they're going on. And now Stacey Wondra's preliminary hearing is coming up next week. We're here to talk about Michael Vaughn. He was abducted July 27th of 2021. Near his Fruitland home. And there are 4 named suspects: Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Adrian Lucien, and Brandon Shurtleff. Stacey Wondra has been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. His preliminary hearing is from March 3rd through the 6th, and there is a status conference right before that on March 2nd. Sarah Wondra had her parole hearing in October, and she's going to be released October 2026, but she will not be a free woman. There is a warrant on Sarah Wondra. She will be handed over and also charged for first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. And then we have Adrian Lucien, who likes to pretend like he hasn't done anything and he was only set up to stay at the Wondra's house, and absolutely says he has nothing. But he also says that why would people come after him? He says that he's been, Wondra says of Adrian Lucien, and maybe that's why people are at Brandon Shurtleff, Mr. Chicken Little here, the coward that he is, knows exactly where Michael Vaughn is. And has decided not to tell the Vaughn family or law enforcement where he is. He stayed the night with Michael Vaughn at his mother's house the night that Michael was abducted. Michael had already passed in a duffel bag, according to Stacey Wondra. Brandon Shirtliff has misconstrued all of his words, contradicted himself so many times. It's not funny. He admits to getting out of the vehicle, the GMC truck on 8th in Arizona. Stacey Wondra says that the reason that he got out of the vehicle was to check on Michael in the back of the GMC because he heard screaming. Brandon Shirtliff also is the walking man in the neighborhood that police were looking for. He talked to law enforcement and he told law enforcement that he was out looking for the child that came up missing. The only problem with that is he was out walking that neighborhood between 6 and 6:30, and Michael wasn't even reported until 7:21 when Tyler called police. How can you be out looking for a child if the child hadn't even gone missing yet? And also, we just learned in Sarah Wandra's probable cause affidavit that Tina Mariel, Brandon Shirtliff's mom, told law enforcement that Brandon wouldn't talk to police. He would avoid the phone calls by law enforcement to not have to talk about Michael Vaughn. And before he went to go talk to law enforcement, Tina Mariel says that he had to call Sarah Wondra to validate his story, to get their story straight. Why would anybody have to do that, Brandon? Can you tell me that? Why do you have to get your story straight with Sarah before talking to law enforcement if you and Sarah and Adrian and Stacey are all claiming you guys had nothing to do with Michael's abduction? Why do you need to get a story straight? The truth is the truth, and it never changes. You only try to get your story straight when a story is created. Also, in the probable cause affidavit, it mentions that Sarah was home alone during the time that Stacey Wondra was incarcerated, and it pretty much says maybe she could have had something to do with Michael being moved from the Wandra's backyard, because Michael was buried in the Wandra's backyard and later moved to an unknown location. And either Sarah told Brandon to do it, or Sarah helped Brandon, or Brandon did it on his own. Adrian Lucian wasn't around, and Stacey Wondra was incarcerated. Today, we are talking about the kid that Stacey Wondra said he saw in the neighborhood. His name is Michael. Stacey Wondra had such a hard time saying Michael's name. All of them have. He's either been called the kid, the boy. His name is Michael Vaughn. Somebody out there knows something. Somebody out there has heard something, and it's up to you to talk to law enforcement and call in a tip with Fruitland Police at 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. Let them decide whether or not your tip is credible. Even if you just believe that it's a rumor, it could still be the puzzle piece that helps put this case even more together, more evidence to really convict these 4 suspects. And if you really feel like it's bothering you, then you probably should talk to law enforcement. Again, that telephone number is 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. You can be Monkey's hero, and you can be the Vaughn family's hero. You may even be able to help bring Michael home so that he could be laid to rest. And we want justice here at Missing PNW. Everybody in chat wants justice. We are Monkey's Army. We're not going anywhere. We're here for the long run. Brandy knows that. The Vaughn family knows that. Law enforcement knows that. They've worked so hard and tirelessly from the very beginning. We've learned that law enforcement did their first interview at the first week of August of 2021, just 6 days after Michael was abducted. We know that there were scent dogs hitting on the Wandra's house after Michael's abduction. They were hitting on the corner where a witness says they saw Michael riding a tricycle. They also hit where Michael was abducted from. and down into the bushes where the tricycle that Michael Vaughn was on. And then we have cadaver dogs, multiple cadaver dogs hitting on the backyard where Stacey Wondra told law enforcement Michael was buried. And because of the probable cause affidavit and Stacey Wondra's statements, we've been led to believe that Michael's body was put into a duffel bag and taken to Kuna. And that Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon took Michael there. And cadaver dogs also hit at Tina Mariel's house where we believe Michael passed. It's so disheartening to have to be here to talk about this case. It is just such a sad thing that happened. These suspects are monsters. I refuse to call them anything but that. They are also just cowards. Stacey Wondra will not in any way, shape, or form take any responsibility for anything that he has done. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this live tonight. Because I keep asking myself, since Stacey Wondra wants to talk about how it was Brandon's idea to use the duffel bag, how Sarah put Michael in the duffel bag, how Adrian held it open, how Sarah came into the house with Michael. He takes no responsibility whatsoever except for being there and witnessing all of this after Michael's abduction. My question is, why is Stacey Wondra the only one out of the 4 suspects that talks about seeing a child in the neighborhood around the time of Michael's abduction? Now, we know Stacey's pawning this off on everybody else, but we also know that Sarah pawns it all off on Stacey and says that Stacey Wondra is the one who kidnapped and murdered Michael. So if we listen to Sarah's story and Stacey Wondra saw a child in the neighborhood, could he been the one who took Michael and took him back to the house? Is everything that Stacey's saying a lie? Because let's not forget, in November of 2022, when law enforcement comes to the Wondra's house with a search warrant, they immediately arrest Sarah for not reporting the death of Michael Vaughn because they're there to dig up that backyard and look for Michael. Let's also remember that while they're there, she immediately throws Stacey under the bus, saying that Stacey did it. The Almighty God told me that Stacey killed and buried Michael. And we're always talking about what Stacey says, but I think it's important to go over what Stacey has said about this child. Why is he the only suspect out of all 4 of them that talks about seeing a child? And that's what we're going over today. Brandy says so many times we were frigging out when it didn't feel like anything was happening. It actually really was. We were asked to trust them, and now I would never, ever doubt them for a second. And I believe that Brandy here is talking about law enforcement because they have done everything they have possibly could. And in this probable cause affidavit of Stacey and Sarah's, Fruitland police talked to the Wondras many times in many different interviews. Before I go any further and start, hold on one second. Let me get over here. Trying to pull up the live on my phone so I can see chat. I'm going to be going over some videos. Hey, Melissa, Heather, thank you guys so much for coming in. Michael is here. Thank you for coming in, hun. And Kim G is in the house. Thank you for being here. So I just wanted to share some news with everybody. Guess who's going to Fruitland? Yep. I'm going to Fruitland, you guys. They are not live streaming it. The judge denied the live stream. I want to go support Brandy. And I got an offer that I couldn't refuse. And my daughter's coming here Saturday. And me and her will be driving into Idaho Sunday. And I will be there for trial. I want to be able to report this and give the facts. And I want to be there to support Brandy and the Vaughn family. If it wasn't for my son-in-law, this wouldn't be happening. He knew that I wanted to be there, and he made it happen for me and my daughter. So now I won't have to go by myself. That was actually one of my biggest concerns, was actually going by myself. I did talk to Brandy yesterday and let her know. And I'm going to be able to meet the Vaughn family for the first time, which is amazing because I've only spoken to them over the phone. And my plan is to update everybody at the end of every day. And maybe if I can, I don't know if I will or not. I do need to eat while I'm there because I'm a diabetic when they have lunch breaks and other breaks that I'm sure they'll have throughout the day, but I may or may not hop on and off. So, yeah, click that notification bell because you're not going to know when I'm going live till I do a live. I may not even have time to make a thumbnail at the end of each day, but I do plan on finding out what I can and can't talk about, because I don't know if there's things I won't be able to talk about. So I'll make sure to find that out. And, you know, the most important thing is to be there with Brandy and support her, and to support Tyler and Blue and the rest of their friends and family that will come. And if I have to stand outside that courtroom at 6 a.m. in the morning to make sure I get a seat, then that's what I'll be doing. So, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about it. I'm not going to lie. I am going into the city where I have talked some major shit about some suspects, but also, while I'm there, if you guys have ever followed me when doing the Kyron Horman case, I go to like the different places where they did searches and whatnot. I'm going to try to take some videos while I'm there, because that's something I've always wanted to do. And if I'm there, I might as well. And yeah, so big things coming, and it's going to be emotional. I know that it's going to be emotional for me. I know that it's going to definitely be emotional for the Vaughn family. And that's what's going to make me really emotional, is just seeing what they go through. But I want to be there. I want to support Brandy. And she told me here recently that I've been keeping her going. So I'm here today. I'm live because I'm going to keep her going. She's strong. She's beautiful. She's got this. We got this. And Stacey Wondra's going down, y'all. And next year, when Sarah gets out and she gets charged, she's going down. And it's just turning into the domino effect. These 4 suspects are going to be charged. They are going down. And we're going to be right here, Monkey's Army, until they all 4 go down. So, yes, thank you guys all. I see all of your comments and everything. Thank you guys. You know, it happened really spur of the moment. I was talking to my daughter, telling her about a chance that I had about going. And her husband heard me talking about it. He didn't really want me going by myself. And the next thing you know, I get a phone call from my daughter, like, we're going to Idaho. You haven't told Blue yet. I can't wait to see Blue. Buggy was excited over the phone. She was like, yay. Thank you, Purple. I am too. I'm here and I'm close, and it was something that I really wanted to do. There were lots of reasons why it almost didn't happen, but you know what? My son-in-law is the real MVP here. Like, he is so supportive of what I do, and my daughter follows Michael Vaughn's case. She watches all of the lives and everything, and yeah, we are super excited to be able to go. And then on the other hand, on top of being excited and being able to go, there's the other part of that, right? How emotional it's going to be, the long days in the courtroom, how my butt's going to hurt sitting on a wooden bench all day. But I'll be there with Brandy. I'm going to give her all the support in the world, and I get to meet her and hug her and squeeze the family. But yeah, I get to face Stacey Wondra in a courtroom right there with Brandy, and that's a difficult thing to do. And that, on the other hand, it's like, good, okay, I'm here. We got a super chat in the house. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. Thank you, Hair Curlers and Crime. Baby Kisses, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's dance in our chairs as soon as I can find it. Here we go. Yeah, I wanted to make sure with Brandy that I wasn't going to, I don't want her to be put under any more stress than she already is. She's definitely not going to have to host me for anything or nothing. I just want to be able to be there for her. And most of all, just, Shannon, I hope I do see you Tuesday. That'd be great. I think it's important for Monkey's Army to be there. And there were several people in Brandy's life that really wanted to go, that couldn't go. Dukes, thank you for coming in. We're going to dance in our chair. Thank you so much for the super chat. Safe travels to Idaho. Yes, there's no snow on the pass, and I should be good. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Oh, Brandy's mama called. She said she would be back. Clever Phase is in the house. But yeah, it was a huge decision to make, because I talk about some stuff on here that's kind of scary, and those scary people are going to be there. But, can't pass up the chance once it's there. Purple, I actually just heard about that here recently. I watched the beginning of one of your lives that popped up. I don't know what you're going through or what your spells are, but I hope you start feeling better. I've had spells like that before, and I ended up being diagnosed with some vertigo stuff. I don't know the details on you though, but if you ever want to call and chat about it, call me and I'll let you know what they said about mine. But I don't know all of your details. I just hope you start feeling good, Purple. And I know you would be here if you weren't going through some medical stuff. There were lots of people that wanted to come that haven't been able to make it. But anyway, enough about all of that. I just wanted to let everybody know that I was going so that you guys knew to, you guys can check for notifications and stuff next week when I update. And you know what? If it's an emotional day and it's a really super long day and I'm super, super excited, I may skip doing that update every day. I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be taking notes. I'm going to do what I can. And you just got to know, when I come home, get a little bit of rest, it'll be on like Donkey Kong. I'll be giving you guys all of the information. Quiet Ear, thank you so much. I really do appreciate the super sticker. That's an amazing super sticker. I really do appreciate that so much. Yes, please send some prayers over to Purple. Thank you, pretty assessor. She hasn't been feeling good. She's fallen. I don't know if it's dizzy spells or what. Juniper Star, thank you so much for being here. Oh, thank you. It is a super chat towards the trip. Be safe and give a hug to Brandy and the fam. I definitely will. I'll be giving her hugs for everybody. Let's dance. My daughter called me last night and she's like, Mom, I got on Amazon. I'm going to make a bunch of blue ribbons. So she got these blue ribbons. They're really cute. They're already put together with the little pins on them. And then she bought these little silver monkeys that she's going to sew onto the ribbon. And then she bought something to be able to write out MJV for Michael Joseph Vaughn on the other side of the ribbon. Flo, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for the super sticker, hun, and thank you for being a member here at Missing PNW. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, guys. You're such a lovely lady, Flo. Thank you so much for coming in. Aggie's in the house. You guys are amazing. Shelly is here. I'm feeling all the love, guys. Thank you guys so much. But she's making these beautiful little ribbons to pass out. She started saying she was making like 15 or 20. Now I think she said something about 50. I don't know. I can see her now like standing in line and passing it out to people coming in and out of the courtroom though. So I love it. I love it. It does. They're going to be so cute. The little tiny little monkeys that she got to put on these ribbons are so, so cute. It's almost like a little monkey swinging. Love it. So yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Stacey Wondra now, and what he had to say about seeing this kid is what he says. I know no one likes hearing the kid, the boy. So as I say that, just know I'm using his words, never what I would ever call Michael. Michael is monkey or Michael to me, but that's what he says. Oh, thank you, Shannon. She really does. And she loves Michael so much. She does. You know, here's the thing with Stacey. Stacey has talked about the kid that he said he saw. It's been a boy. It's been a girl. This child's been small, and the child's been tall. And then he says that he saw the child in the lawn. And then he says that he saw the child on a sidewalk. Then it turned into a 5-6-year-old kid up to 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And, you know, his story has just constantly changed. And even Brandy has talked to Stacey about the child. And I took that clip too. So even talking to Brandy, I mean, Brandy was the most upset in this particular part of the video where she talked to Stacey Wondra, because, you know, we believe that this child that he saw was Michael. Why would he ever even mention seeing a kid? And why is he the only one out of 4 suspects that talks about seeing a kid in the neighborhood? It's very strange. And you're a suspect in a missing child's case. Why would you ever, and thank God for their stupidity, but why would you ever admit to seeing a child? And just, you know, and what is even more suspicious to me, this is the most suspicious, besides the fact that he's the only one out of all 4 suspects that talk about seeing a child, he says that this child was playing with something in his hand. And Michael had something in his hand when he left the house to go play. Make that make sense. And it's just so crazy, you know. Minky in the house, thank you for coming in. I wonder if there is transcript of all his interviews that can be ran in Chat GPT to find the contradictions. You know, I actually took a bunch of the clips and put them all together and found a lot of the contradictions. Matter of fact, you'll see him for himself as we go through these clips today. Julia in the house. Let me see something. Okay. So first we're going to talk about the child that Stacey sees. And if we have time before the round table starts, the live over there, we'll talk about the neighborhood, because he says he's on a sidewalk, and I have video that there is no sidewalk. We have gone over this before, but I'm just trying to, you know, Under Your Scars is here. Thank you for being here. And, you know, I just think it's really important to kind of review all of this stuff a little bit before his preliminary hearing. My plans were and still are, if I have time, to talk about this week what a preliminary hearing is, what it's all about. Some people don't understand that. I have some research to do on that. I want to print up some stuff and just start asking, you know, a lot of questions about what it is to help you guys understand, to help myself understand. If for some reason I don't get a chance, can't do the research, if this week just goes by too fast with all the packing and everything I need to do, I apologize now. If nothing else, we'll at least just talk about what a preliminary hearing is without all the other research that I was going to do. But anyway, we are on limited time. Purple usually starts her live about 5 p.m. my time, so I want to get in a couple of these video clips real quick. And like I said earlier, hit that notification bell, subscribe, make sure you get those notifications when I go live next week from Fruitland, Idaho.
You did mention seeing a child out by.
Can I have one of the moderators, please, give credit to Crime Lines and Lies in chat, please?
By himself, but you didn't know that it was Michael.
Not at all. Yeah, I don't know who he is. You know, I didn't think it was out of the weird. You know, he was just being himself, being a kid.
I mean, do you recognize him now?
No, not at all.
No.
That kid did not depict Michael at all. No, the timestamp of when he went missing was it like 6 o'clock or 6:30 at night or 7. We left at 5:30. That's when they timestamped us leaving the neighborhood.
Okay, so when you saw the child playing, about what time was it?
You talking in reference to the child that was on his own?
Yeah.
I don't know. He was out there when we had left the house. We never stopped other than to stop on 8th Street in Arizona to go fill up fluid, and that was it.
Okay, so you didn't talk to him or anything?
Not at all, no.
You didn't ask if he was lost or anything like that?
No.
Do you remember what he was wearing? What colors or anything?
Not at all. I know that it was not Michael, I can tell you that. I would have recognized the picture.
Well, you've seen it a lot, right? Okay.
Every day.
You see the child who you said does not look like Michael. Who?
Seems like such an odd statement to say every day. Because Brooks kinds of nails his ass to the wall a little bit, like you see him every day. or you see it a lot, and he's like, every day. So here you see Stacey Wondra saying a boy. He's pretty much saying a boy.
Who was with you?
Who was in the truck was Sarah, Brandon, and me.
And who pointed out the child that was out?
I saw him. I don't know whether they saw him. The hood was up on the truck, but I can tell you that it did not match Michael's description.
Who saw the child? Who said there's a child?
As far as I know, it was just me. As far as I'm concerned, it was only me. After I shut the hood, he was still out and about. So no, I take that back. No, Sarah did see him.
You'd have to take that back, right? Here you are on a live with Brooks and Crime Lines and Lies, and you just admitted that you seen a child. The hood was up. Nobody else saw the child. This is why I'm asking this question. Why is Stacey Wondra saying he's the only one that saw the child? Brandon, Sarah, and Adrian have never said it, but then he has to backtrack here and he has to say, oh, no, wait, I closed the hood. They saw.
So did Brandon, but we never thought anything different of it. And it was not Michael, like I keep saying, you know.
But when you were putting the power steering fluid in, that was at Southwest 8th in Arizona.
Correct.
Did the child approach the truck? Because I mean, you know, you're working at the truck, and some kids get really curious.
No, not at all.
Was he standing or sitting?
Oh,
Shannon, thank you so much for super chat. This says the preliminary hearing is like a mini trial. The prosecution will call witnesses and introduce evidence, and the defense can examine witnesses. Yes, absolutely. And I want to go over, like, what kind of evidence do they go over? What kind of witnesses do they bring forth? Like, when I started researching, you know, what all the kind of stuff that they could do, I was like, oh, wow. I just made the mistake and not printed it then when I already did my research on all of this. So I want to print it all out and get everybody to talk. But yeah, right now we're going to dance. Thank you so much for that, Shannon. I watched the prelim for Lori Daybell. It's like the Reader's Digest version. I watched a little bit of that too. Okay, let's keep playing here.
Oh, he was playing with his he was playing with something, but it wasn't I'm sorry, I'm trying to recollect this.
I mean, she throws him off asking him about this toy. Michael was playing with the toy and he gets stuck and starts stuttering, just like I just did. Stuttering, trying not to say exactly what it was in his hand or what he was playing with, because of course that would be a huge red flag, right?
Best as I can for you guys. There was nothing. I think I want to say he was standing.
Was he in the street?
No, he was by houses.
So he was by a house. Do you know the color of the house?
No, I didn't pay attention to that. But nothing was.
He clears his throat and then gets weird looks like this when he starts getting confused. So if you ever hear him clearing his throat, he's usually about to come up with a lie. Yeah, Why does he look like a, what are you saying, poodle or puggle or whatever? I don't know. He he doesn't look like that anymore. He's actually lost a lot of weight, but
Like nothing was unusual about it at all. You know, he was just doing his own thing.
And how far away from the street was he?
I was on the sidewalk.
remember here he says sidewalk. Because I will show you guys there is no sidewalk.
Oh, he was on the sidewalk. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the street.
But he was by a house. Was it like
there was a whole stretch of houses?
that's
And in this time that he supposedly is getting out of his car, changing power steering fluid, getting back into the vehicle and leaving, he seems to be able to know that the child was playing with something, where he was standing, what he was doing, what, standing in front of houses, on all of this information, when normally if you're not doing anything sus, you're not really paying attention to anything. Like, you getting out of your vehicle, putting the power steering fluid in, getting out. I mean, some people do pay a lot of attention to their surroundings, but he has so many different details in this child that he sees. He makes it almost sound like they must have been pulled over to the side of the road for 10 or 15 minutes.
Southwest 8th in Arizona. Okay. About how many houses down did you see him?
I don't know. I could see him in the distance. You know what I mean? Like there was I mean, I could see the face, but I don't. There was probably 5, 6, 7 houses down.
And now he's saying he's seeing this child in a distance, 5 or 6, 7 houses down. I have a map of that. And there's no way that he could see a child and what he was playing with, or that this child would even be on a sidewalk, since it's on the other side of the road from where he says he sees this child. There's literally no way to see a child. You might see a figure, but being that far away, since we put somebody out on the street during a video footage to see, you can barely see a grown woman. He would have barely been able to see a child, where he says. And there's not even 6 or 7 houses on that street. I believe there's only 5. Well, maybe there's 6. I don't know, but we'll take a look.
You saw this child on the sidewalk. From there,
Just carried on our trip to Cuna. There was nothing unusual about it. It was a safe neighborhood.
was he playing with a toy or anything?
Other than to stop on 8th Street.
And then he says, and then they left and they went on to Cuna. Well, we know Michael was abducted and taken back to their house before they actually went to Cuna.
I could see him in the distance. You know what I mean? Like there was I mean, I could see the face, but I don't. There was probably 5, 6, 7 houses down.
You saw this child on the sidewalk. From there,
Just carried on our trip to Cuna. There was nothing unusual about it.
So he's saying there was nothing unusual about it. And since I do want to just point out the no sidewalk being there in that neighborhood, I'm going to pause that for a second and then let's just take a look.
You see the child who you said does not look like Michael. Who was with you? The child.
No, I take that.
That
with his nothing. No.
Hold on a second, you guys. This is the road where he says he sees the child. This is leaving Brandy's Road and then taking a right on Arizona. And if you look to the right, there is no sidewalk. And if you go further up in that direction, there is the corner of 8th and Arizona, right before the stop sign on the left, and there's no sidewalk.
Oh, he's on the sidewalk. Okay.
No, he wasn't even in the street.
But he was by a house.
So just to make that clear, the sidewalk is on the left-hand side of the road, and he's saying he sees him over here off of 8th in Arizona, many, many, many houses down.
It was a safe neighborhood.
Was he playing with a toy or anything?
I don't remember that specifically. It just seemed like he was just doing his own thing. He was just being a kid.
Well, I mean, how did you know the child was playing?
He was just doing his own thing. I don't know what else to say. There was nothing unusual about it. Apart from what we found out about him disappearing was very normal for us. I mean, we saw kids playing outside all the time. Or doing their own thing, you know? I mean, kids would walk the neighborhood all the time.
Sure.
It was a safe neighborhood, you know? It was supposed to be.
I mean, did he have a trike or anything with him? You know, like a tricycle, bicycle, anything?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
Well, like I said, the kid that I saw did not depict Michael at all. In fact, the kid that I saw looked like he had dark hair, like very dark hair, like mine.
Well, how old do you think that?
And then here he is. He starts changing things about this child because he already knows he's messed up. I've now mentioned this child. Now I have to explain myself.
Child was?
I don't know. Like, I mean, he was definitely a little taller. You know, he wasn't like it didn't look like a 5-year-old kid at all. I'd say if I had to guess age, maybe 7, 8, 9. I mean, he wasn't like a little kid. You know what I mean? Like he was. That's why I said it didn't concern me at all that he was out and about doing his thing.
Well, I mean, how do you know it was a little boy?
I mean, aren't kids technically still labeled as little? I mean, if they're not in pre-adulthood. I can't confirm whether it was a boy or girl. I know that short hair, it was dark brown.
Well, did you tell the police?
They're aware of everything. I've told them everything I know. Told them everything my surroundings that night, my alerts. I mean, they know everything. I've told them.
Well, since you told police about the child in the area when you were putting in power steering fluid, do you think that's why they still consider you a suspect?
I don't know. As far as I was told, or, you know, as far as I heard, that I was not considered a person of interest to them anymore.
Okay. Did Sarah ever ask you to take the child you saw? Did she ever try to make you do anything against your will?
No.
Did she do it?
No, there was no kid taken from us. Like we're going over the same fucking questions, Brooks. I've answered them every way I can.
Michael is still missing.
And there's Stacey right there. That little monster. He cannot be nice for very long. Matter of fact, he treated Brooks like shit quite a few times. and she got him on panel more than anybody. And yeah, these are very, very important interviews done with Stacey Wondra that we'll be able to use in court.
Missing.
Well, I understand this, and I've already answered a million questions from people that are asking the same exact questions throughout all 3 videos. I don't have any other information to give them. You're asking the same exact questions of all 3 videos. I get we're trying to rehash, but people can also backtrack and watch the same videos too.
If Sarah tried to take a child or Brandon, would you tell them to stop?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, he would. But he says to law enforcement, he says that, says right here, Stacey then said that when he first saw Michael, Sarah was carrying Michael into their home. Absolutely, he would. He just said to Brooks, if Sarah or Brandon would have done it, he would have said something. Stacey Wondra had a chance, an opportunity to leave the house, to call 911, to do something about it. As he's saying, he saw Sarah come in the house with Michael, if that's actually how it really went, and does nothing. That's his words.
And I would go bring law enforcement involved.
Did you tell her to stop?
Yes, I would tell her to stop.
Did you tell her to stop?
No, she wasn't even asking about going to take a kid.
Okay.
Fuck.
Kind of thing.
Sarah, me, Brandon were in the car, the truck. We had pulled off of by Arizona and 8th Street on the side of the road. I had been putting power steering fluid in the truck. I noticed a kid down the road, kind of in the yard, that was playing, just doing it.
And now he's telling another creator in the yard. First it was a sidewalk, now it's the yard.
Saying being himself, and it was a secure neighborhood. I didn't think anything of it at all. But I would say it's probably like 5:35, 5:40.
So you come out your neighborhood and you come to 8th right there at the corner. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop and you.
This is credit to Dolly Vision here. And what's most important about this with Dolly Vision is he gets Stacey Wondra to talk about pretty much close to, from what I understand, where Michael was abducted. Because there's 8th Street that goes in and out in between the 2 subdivisions. Then you have Arizona Street that goes down, and then you turn left onto Brandy Street on 9th. But on the right-hand side of Arizona is a huge field. And here, he gets Stacey Wondra to admit that the child that he saw was in a yard across from the field. The one and only creator that ever got Stacey Wondra to admit seeing a child in a location where Michael Vaughn actually was.
You put power steering fluid in your vehicle.
Yep.
Now, was you the only person to get out the vehicle at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you check the level. You see it needs some power steering fluid. Now, while you was there, did you notice anything?
Then noticed a boy playing in the neighborhood, somebody's yard. But
tell me a little bit about the child you noticed. What did you see? What was going on?
I just know he had dark brown hair.
Uh-huh.
He was taller, like he had to have been 8, 9, 10 years old. Mind you, it wasn't a clear picture, you know what I mean? I wasn't really trying to pay attention,
Yeah, you was putting power steering.
Always pay attention to my surroundings all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you say he had a toy. Do you remember what kind of toy he may have had?
No. I
you
didn't pay attention again. I just know he was playing with something is all I know.
And you didn't see nobody else around the kid. Was he in a yard?
Yeah, he was in the neighbor's yard, yeah. Or one of the people's yards off of East Street, but
Okay.
outside a house, like in the
So,
front yard.
across from the field, which would sit right across from the field. Okay. Okay.
At 5:30.
At first he said in front of a house on 8th Street, and then Dolly says, well, across from the field in a yard, and he shakes his head yes. There's no field near or across from the houses that are on 8th Street, only on Arizona. So Stacey trips himself up big time right there. Just letting everybody know, my comments on my computer are coming in and off. I can see everybody's comments from my phone, but I can't share you guys up here on panel as I usually like to do until my computer or whatever's going on in StreamYard decides to let me see all of the comments here on StreamYard. I really like to share your comments up here. Let's see. Here is another video that was done of the neighborhood. Some videos done by Brandy, some was done by Hot Mess. I took them all and put them together. So this is leaving the Vaughn's driveway.
Right down 9th Street to the corner of 9th and Arizona. And this is the corner of 8th in Arizona. There is Hidden Meadows subdivision. I'm standing on the corner of 9th and Arizona. Turning all the way back around. I am now facing 9th and Arizona on the corner right here of 9th and Arizona. All right, everyone. And right. We are in Hidden Meadows. All right, let's turn around right here. We're in Hidden Meadows subdivision. I don't want to go any farther. Here we go. We are coming out of Hidden Meadows subdivision on.
So Hidden Meadows subdivision is where the Wondras lived. So this would be the only way they can get out of their subdivision to come on to 8th Street.
To Southwest 8th. All right, let me jump out here real quick. If I'm over here, you look down the road. I'm coming out of Hidden Meadows to subdivision. Allegedly. Pulled off right here. To pull in and put in power steering fluid, correct?
And that's where where Stacey has said, and now Brandon, after getting him up on my panel, says that they pulled over on the side of the road. And as you can notice in this footage that Brandy took, the only sidewalk is on the left-hand side of 8th that comes in and out between the two subdivisions where the Wondras live, and then Brandy being on the south side of that subdivision.
Arizona and
9th.
And 9th is down the road where they live.
Coming out of Hidden Meadows subdivision. Okay, we are turning right onto South Arizona. Southwest 8th and South Arizona. Now we are coming to turn to Southwest 9th in Arizona. Now we are, here's home. There's the house. There's our house. Okay, here's South Washington and 9th Street. And you go left to turn out of our neighborhood. That goes into a field. That is the rest of 9th. Right now, we are sitting on Washington and 8th. There's the splash pad to the right, down the road on the left-hand side.
I know, Brandy, you were saying, oh my God, I was so sick. I'm sitting here looking at your fingers as you're pointing, and yeah, you can tell because of the weight that you lost before you got sick, before you got your kidney. So nice to know that you're good and healthy right now. 6 months later and going. The StreamYard's pissing me off, y'all.
So, as we come across, this is 1, 2, 3 houses, 5, 6. So 6 houses would have been all the way down on the corner. All the way, all these houses would have been 6 houses.
Basically pointing out that there's 6 houses on 8th, and Stacey Wondra says he saw a child 6, 7, houses back. And there's just absolutely no way you would have been able to see a child from that far back.
Go home. So here we are turning onto South Arizona.
Oh my gosh, I keep saying kidney. I'm liver transplant, y'all. I've said kidney for 2 weeks.
And here's our
That is the neighborhood. That is 8th Street in Arizona on the left. 8th Street going east and west. 6 houses on that block. That far down where Stacey Wondra says he saw a child, way, way down there. Well, one of the places he said he saw a child. This is from where they would have been parked, allegedly putting in power steering fluid in the GMC, looking down 8th Street to leave the neighborhood. Like I said, sidewalk being on the left, but he says he sees this child in front of houses, anywhere to 6 houses down. So I have numbers here in teal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a huge tree there, another bit. You cannot see the woman in this picture that is way down there, standing on the road, not even standing in a yard. There is friggin' no way he saw a child that far away. and would be able to give the description, nor see Michael playing with something in his hand either. Lies, lies, and more Stacey Wondra lies. Yep, credit to Brandy. That's right. You know, Brandy started to do the timeline of all of this a long time ago and has tried multiple times to do it. It was something that was really bothering Brandy. She wanted people to see, like, dude, there's no sidewalk. There is no way he saw a kid that far, you know, and it was so very important to her. And I feel truly blessed that, you know, she took these videos, because at the time she was afraid she wasn't even going to be here much longer. And she wanted this done. She wanted people to see. So it was really important to Brandy to get, you know, this information out there, these locations out there. I'm going to look to see what time it is real quick. Okay, we still got time, you guys. And then this is another recording of the area. Everything used on YouTube will probably be used in court. This is by the Wondра's house. And now we're just going to give you guys a, you know, there's the Wondра's house there on the right-hand side of the road. We're now on Red Wing Street. And I'm going to give you a little bit of perspective here. So coming up, this is one of the reasons I wanted to show you guys perspective. We have right here, this is the corner, you guys. Driving east on Red Wing, and we're coming up to Meadowlark. Meadowlark is where the dog, the scent dog, hit on Michael. Live scent dog teams searched the surrounding neighborhoods August 2nd and 3rd of 2021 using a pair of Michael's shoes for Michael's scent. Out of approximately 300 homes in the neighborhood, K9 handlers reported the dogs only showed interest in one house located at 1102 Red Wing. This is the home of Stacey and Sarah Wondra. A K9 handler also reported that K9 Banshee showed interest in the area of the corner of Meadowlark and Red Wing Street. The K9 showed interest at the intersection and then headed straight to the fence and front door of the Wondra's house. And then you have the statement, the witness statement by Dorothy Starkey, the Wondra's next door neighbors. Dorothy Starkey, who was present in Fruitland, reported July 29th. So she reported 2 days after Michael was abducted that she saw Michael riding a big wheel tricycle at the corner of Red Wing Street and Meadowlark Avenue on July 27th. So she saw Michael on a tricycle, the same tricycle that was in the garage at the Wondra's house, the same tricycle that Kay found and put in that garage that was there in the spring of 2021, the same tricycle that Banshee hit on in the bushes down off of the bluff. This is Red Wing and Meadowlark right here. And then we're turning down Meadowlark. So we're kind of leaving the Wondra's house. Brandy says she is getting stronger every day. I know you are. I can hear the fire in your voice when I talk to you these days. You got this. She has worked her butt off, you know, For Monkey, she at one point went out and passed out flyers for so long in the snow that, you know, her feet didn't look that great. She got way too cold out there. So here, headed out, just like we seen Brandy do the video. This is Hot Messes video. This is 8th Street going east and west, coming out of the subdivision. If you were to take a right instead of a left right here, you'd end down at the bluff. And then here, right off to the right-hand side of the road where you see the little dirt patch is where Stacey and Brandon and Sarah has also said they stopped leaving the neighborhood on the way to Cuna to do the tow. This is the dirt patch here on 8th in Arizona. Stacey Wondra says there were 2 reasons why they stopped in the GMC on the corner of Southwest 8th Street and South Arizona in Fruitland. 1, for Stacey to put power steering fluid into the vehicle, and 2, so Brandon could check to see if Michael was still alive, because Michael was, Michael was in the bed of the truck, and because Michael was bound and duct taped and stuffed into a duffel bag in the bed of the truck, Stacey said he was able to hear Michael making noises like a dull scream. Stacey said they were worried about being seen because they saw a car parked off of South. That is what Stacey says. That's in the probable cause affidavit. Here's the sidewalk again. It's across the street from the houses, and there's also a long fence all the way on the other side of this sidewalk, so he couldn't have seen him on a sidewalk in front of houses, because he would have been on a sidewalk in front of the fence. Again, we're just seeing these contradictions made by Stacey Wondra. Thank you so much for putting up the trigger warning. I should have said something. Mama says, why couldn't they have just left him right there? Let him out. I don't fucking understand. I don't either, hun. I'm so sorry. And then here, see, oh, let me just back up just a tad bit. Let's see if I can do that. In the background, you can see like the major highway up there. You see the truck going by. And this is in the area where the CCTV camera is, you guys. It's not further down 8th Street, or they would have seen Michael abducted. This is the splash pad that's in their neighborhood. And the one of the CCTV cameras is right here in the back of these houses along the splash pad. Don't know what house, but that's where one of the CCTV cameras were. Another one was out further on the street, if I am correct, but I know there was. And this is the CCTV here where these houses are, where they see Stacey Wondra get out of his vehicle. Remember, he says he gets out of his vehicle to go around the car, open up the door, and get his chew off the floorboard. But in the probable cause affidavit, it says that he gets out of the vehicle, walks around the vehicle, checks the handle on the car to see if it's locked, and then gets back into the car. So he doesn't even open up the door to get the chew. So now we're heading west, back towards Arizona, on 8th Street, and then taking a left here to go down to 9th Street where the Vaughn family lives, and taking a right here. And then Stacey Wondra says that he saw a child playing in, this is the field, playing in the yard of a house across from the field. So that would have been this house right here on the right-hand side of the road. And they do know that that was one of the houses where Michael went to visit as he left the house wandering away to try to find somebody to play with. So when Stacey says he sees a child playing in the yard across from the field, he's actually saying in a location we know for a fact where Michael is. And then I had let's see, a couple of things that Stacey lied about. Yesterday we went over the fact that we hear him talking about, or we have heard him talk about how he was interrogated to the point of a false confession, right? Well, let's listen to Stacey talk about his confession, because early on, before the footage was even released to the public to be able to watch here, Stacey Wondra kept telling everybody, I didn't talk to law enforcement. They have nothing on me. I love you. Mama says she's going to get some air. I'll be listening. Thank you, everyone, for being here for Michael and for justice for Michael. We love you, hun. We know this is hard. I'm glad you're taking a breather. And I'm sorry I didn't give a trigger warning.
Did law enforcement ever ask you where Michael is buried?
Yeah, and I told him I don't have any idea. They asked me about our backyard, and I said that's not even possible. There's no trench marks. There's no dig marks. There's absolutely no. There's nothing. There's not even. There's nothing at all.
And in the probable cause affidavit, Stacey talks about there being holes. Actually, it was Sarah's parents talk about holes being dug in the yard. And he's like, it's not even possible. But yet he has already confessed. He has already told law enforcement. And then he gets up here lying.
In our backyard. Even by the shed that people are questioning about, that shed was there on our property since we moved there. That house belonged to Sarah's mom and dad. It makes no fucking sense. Again, where I want law enforcement to sit there and show everybody. I want them to show pictures of the grass. I want them to show the evidence, the grounds penetrating surveillance.
Well, law enforcement was able to prove that anomalies were disrupted in that backyard, that there were anomalies, which is the dirt not being packed down the way it should. So it's loose dirt that led them to believe that he was once there. Michael was once buried in that backyard and then moved.
I want them to show where they see that there was a hole dug. Because I know for a fact that if you're going to dig a hole on a property, on some even grass of any sort, anything, it could be anywhere, you're going to leave a dirt trail. It's common sense. You're not gonna just dig a hole and have absolutely no residue from it. No remaining dirt left on the ground.
Thing that you've
No. And he stutters. He stutters so much. And this is the one where he talks to Brandy about the child he saw.
You seen him that night?
And trigger warning, Brandy's very, very upset and sick, talking to the monster that's responsible for Michael's kidnapping and murder.
Brandy?
You seen him that night. Tell me about the kid. Tell me about the kid on the road. Was it him?
That was not him. No, it was not him.
How come he changed ages, sex, color of
Hey,
hair?
what?
All of your statements. How come that little boy, where you said you pulled off out of the neighborhood up here on 8th? There are no houses here. You cannot see down 6 houses.
How can you tell me I can't see 6 houses? That was not your son, Brandy. What do you want me to say?
You changed your story continuously, and then you
No,
said,
I haven't.
Yes, you
I
have.
have specified in every one of my podcasts that I have done that my information may not be 100% clear, as it has been almost 3.5 years. Would you remember something 3.5?
He talks to Brandy like a monster, the monster that he is. She's having such a difficult time with this, of course. I wanted to stop this so bad, but I knew Brandy wanted to talk. And that's the only reason I kept going. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do since I started being a YouTube creator.
Half years verbatim, detail, would you? Because I guarantee you wouldn't. Nobody can remember something identical, pinpointing it to it.
Hold up 1 second. We need to give Brandy a second to calm down and breathe for a minute.
Tell me, what was the boy doing that you saw on the road that night?
It wasn't your boy, Brandy. And he was outside of some house playing
the way he says Brandy. Oh my God. I had my finger on the button, you guys, so many times to just kick him right off of there. I could not. It's so hard. Brandy recently shared this video out. It was one of the reasons why I just decided to play a small clip of it, because it's just a reminder of what, not only what Stacey has said, but what Brandy has gone through dealing with these monsters. When I did my interview with Brandon Shirtliff, blue, red, Brandon, it was either an essay or something like that she had done for school. And Brandy talked to Brandon for just a second, because I told him I wouldn't put anybody up on panel with him. But the strength that she has, the resilience that she has to be able to deal with these monsters, she's just so strong. We love you, Brandy.
down the road on the right-hand side. I don't know what house. I don't know exactly what house. I don't have an address to give you, other than it was literally probably like 4 or 5 houses on the right-hand side of the road.
Again, you just cannot see down that far. It would have been impossible.
And it was not Michael.
Let's not yell, Stacey. Let's not yell, Stacey.
You would have had to drive by the kid, right?
Correct. But by the time I had filled up the power steering and we had taken off, he had already gone back inside with his family.
How do you know
I had watched because I don't know that it was family's house. All I know is I watched somebody come out of the side of their house and told them that it was time to come inside. And that's all I know. What else do you want me to give you? It wasn't your boy. You want to make up something?
So you saw a little boy.
And even though he's yelling and screaming at her, she takes her few deep breaths, calms down, collects herself, and starts calmly talking to the monster.
You pulled off the side of the road on 8th. Was it on directly outside?
No. Clarify. I did not see the little boy until after I had gotten out of the truck and opened the hood, and I heard.
We went over this slip yesterday. When I opened up the hood and I heard, because in the probable cause affidavit, it says, Stacey says to law enforcement that he heard Michael screaming. I believe it says a dull scream, and he had Brandon get out and check on Michael. So there's leakage here.
noise coming from the background of somebody playing in the yard of the house. Just to get that straight. We didn't pull off because we saw somebody playing in the front yard. To clarify.
Okay, let me calm down here. So you pulled out of.
Yes. So this is done on a public platform. Actually, how it went was I was live streaming. I wasn't even doing a live stream with Stacey Wondra or anything. Nothing was planned. I was actually doing a live stream on the 16 or more registered sex offenders that are all connected to all of these suspects. And then Stacey Wondra showed up in chat. And when he did, I just asked him if he wanted to come up. He was pissed off at the things that I was saying. And yeah, I was poking fun at Stacey, like talking some shit about him. And I actually got him to come up on panel, and Brandy was also there. And yeah, you know, get him up on panel, ask him if he would talk to Brandy. That's how it happened. That's how they ended up here on panel. Told Stacey I wasn't going to allow anybody but Brandy up. That's why nobody else but them talk. I say rarely anything. The only thing I even say the entire time he's up there is to calm down, stop treating Brandy like crap, because I was having such a hard time allowing it to continue. But Brandy was adamant and wanted to keep talking.
Hidden Meadows subdivision, correct? Took a left.
Carry on.
Okay. The next.
So Brandy says here, forever I thought he was going to say Sarah, and then after knowing, I don't want to. Thank you, Stacey, for being such the dipshit. So all think, yeah, he is a dipshit, that's for sure.
Road to turn.
The next right turn was Arizona Street.
Correct. So
we
from
pulled
where
off
you left
before
Hidden
that.
Meadows, okay, in between, because that's all field right there on the right hand side. That's nothing.
And there's also a pull-off spot.
Right there, right before the sign on 8th, or excuse me, Arizona, on Arizona. So,
the conniving tone he uses here was just pissing me off.
Correct.
Where was the little boy? Because you would have had to pull off right there in front of Arizona and 8th.
Correct.
Right there, where the pull off is. I've stood there and I've looked down the road. Which house looking down the road? I know you said 5 or 6 houses down the road. You said this child was playing in the yard. Was he standing? Was he sitting?
He was standing in the yard. How else would I notice somebody who was he was like having a good time? He was just being himself. I don't know. He was being like every fucking other kid that wants to have fun in their life. I don't know. It was not Michael. Trust me, I'm very, very familiar with faces, Brandy. And Michael's face was not that boy.
But I know all my neighbors, and there's no children. There are no kids there.
Well, there was a kid there. And it wasn't Michael. So I don't know what else to tell you. Other than what I saw and what I heard and what I know, that somebody came out of the house and told them that it was time to come inside. I don't know if these people had friends that had kids or if somebody was babysitting. I don't know.
You saw that person tell that kid to go inside?
I heard the person tell him to come in.
So you were close enough to hear, but couldn't see. Which house, or do you remember which house? I know it's been 1,240 days, 3.5 years of pure hell and nightmares. People claiming they know where my son is and won't tell me. So,
if I knew who your boy was, I would have already told them that at the beginning of everything.
Just please beware. Just watch your tone a little bit, Stacey. Please watch your tone.
I'm just curious, which house was it that you saw this little?
It was a beige house. I don't know exactly the number. It was a beige house.
And it's on that right side right there on 8th.
Correct.
Between Arizona and Washington.
Correct.
I know all of those neighbors.
Okay. And I'm sorry that you, okay, and maybe you ever think maybe they were babysitting, or maybe, you know,
I know their grandchildren.
David had a friend over? I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? I don't have any.
Law enforcement ever ask you where Michael is buried?
What do you want me to tell you? What Brandy wants these suspects to tell her is, where is Michael? She repeatedly says, give me back my son. Give me back my son. You can watch that interview. I ain't got time to find it right now, but you can watch that video here, and you want to move about halfway through it, unless you do want to watch all the information about the RSOs to find that complete video. It is very heart-wrenching, and at the same time, we had so many technical difficulties during that. It frustrated me, it frustrated Brandy and Stacey. Each one of them were falling off. There were all kinds of noise going on in the background with Stacey because he was at a homeless shelter. So, yeah. She's so calm. I don't know how. God bless her. Yeah, I don't know how she was so calm. Not going on until 7:30, Sam. Thank you, Purple. What is that, my time? If you already put up a thumbnail, I'll look real quick. Let me take a second, you guys. I will put up the roundtables link here to go over and watch. And then let me just look to see how much time I have real quick. Hold on, you guys. Thank you for your patience. Go to my subscriptions. Here we go. Usually tells me how long. Oh, there it is. Okay, 5:30 my time. Thanks, Purple. So now just going to continue to go through this. Somebody was definitely looking out, because when he said SA, my computer stopped. I even made up new cuss words after he said that. Oh yeah, that's because Stacey Wondra, out of nowhere, me nor Brandy, mentioned or said anything to him. And Stacey, oh my God, what was the exact words he used? I cannot remember. He said something like he would never do that to a child. I can't remember. I have it. Let me play this video and I'll see if I can't find it in my shorts, and then I'll play it, you guys. But yeah, he threw himself so far onto the bus. It was like, what did he just say? Wow. I mean, nobody said anything to him, and out of nowhere, he said something like, I've had federal warrants, I've been in federal prison, but I would never hurt a boy, or I would never something. I'm going to find it, you guys. Take a look at this video.
Yeah, and I told him I don't have any idea. They asked me about our backyard, and I said that's not even possible. There's no trench marks, there's no dig marks. There's absolutely no. There's nothing. There's not even. I mean, there's nothing at all in our backyard. Even by the shed that people are questioning about, that shed was there on our property since we moved there. That house belonged to Sarah's mom and dad. It makes no fucking sense. Again, where I want law enforcement to sit there and show everybody. I want them to show pictures of the grass. I want them to show the evidence, the ground penetrating surveillance. I want them to show where they see that there was a hole dug. Because I know for a fact that if you're going to dig a hole on a property, on some even grass of any sort, anything, it could be anywhere, you're going to leave a dirt trail. It's common sense. You're not gonna just dig a hole and have absolutely no residue from it. No remaining dirt left on the ground.
Thing that you've told the police that isn't quite true?
Not at all.
You haven't lied to the police at all just because you were nervous or scared?
Not one bit. They questioned me in November of 2022. Interrogated the fuck out of me.
How long did they interrogate you for?
I think they did it multiple days. It was like 3 days, but it was probably 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. I think the longest one went like 5 hours.
Was this before or after the excavation? Or I would assume before, because that you're the one that tipped them off to get it all started, right?
Here, let me share my screen and show you guys what the the deception detective did and about what Stacey said during that live stream when he said something about the SA. Just really in shock about it.
Yeah, I have a felony history, but guess what? My felony history doesn't pertain to sex offense crimes.
In that intervening period, nobody mentioned sex crimes. Stacey brought that up all on his own. Spontaneous statements and explanations are often the most revealing because they show what's on someone's mind. Why is Stacey touting his clean record of sex crimes as a defense against kidnapping Michael? For all we know, someone hit Michael with their car, hid the body so they wouldn't get in trouble, and nothing else happened. There's no evidence of a sex crime or even an abduction. The chilling implication is by denying a sex crime, Stacey might be unintentionally revealing to us what he and the others are actually guilty of.
Yeah, I have a felony history, but guess what? My felony history doesn't pertain to sex offense crimes.
Doesn't pertain to sex offense crimes. Me nor Brandy, nobody said anything to him. He voluntarily just says it out of the blue. My mouth hit the floor. I was like, what the hell is he even talking about? We didn't say nothing. Yeah, gotta find a way to get some of that aggression out. Humor is my deflect. I get it. Trench marks. Why would you have trench marks in your yard? He goes so far and beyond trying to convince people that, there was nothing in his yard. Michael wasn't in his yard and everything. And then we see a confession footage that contradicts everything we had heard him say in his YouTube shit show. Literally. His YouTube shit show. And then here he's completely saying that it was a false confession, because he was interrogated to the point of confession.
And as far as the excavation process, I was the one that tipped him off. It was a fable. It was not true. But I told him specifically that he was buried in the backyard, which he was never buried. And I know this is going to sound incredibly stupid to you guys, but this is what I told Lon.
Well, it's incredibly stupid because they have said Michael was in that backyard and later moved, Stacey, and you're the one who called law enforcement. You called them. That's what the probable cause affidavit said. On November 5th, 2022, at 12:55 a.m., Stacey contacted Fruitland Police and requested an interview at Washington County Jail. Stacey provided vague details about the events surrounding Michael's abduction. Stacey and Sarah's religious beliefs and behavior changes started within a couple of days after Michael's abduction. On November 10th, 2022, Stacey again asked to speak with Fruitland police detectives. Stacey wanted a deal, the same deal that had been given to Sarah in the Michael Vaughn case. Stacey admitted Michael had been in his house the night of Michael's abduction. Stacey admitted the tricycle had been in his garage. And it also, we have seen in the confession footage that was leaked out that Stacey Wondra directs law enforcement to where Michael was buried in the backyard, and that is the same area where multiple cadaver dogs hit in the backyard.
Portion, because I was so incredibly in an excessive amount of stress and overpressured that I literally just, I was, I didn't know what to do. They kept telling me that, oh yeah, you're guilty. You're the one. You did this. You know everything. No, I don't. And I told them that 100 times.
So you felt the pressure and you just cracked and said, you know
100%.
what? That's where he's at. He's in the backyard. Why don't you go?
Made it up 100%.
Wow. So do you feel like that's a false
I made it up. I made it up. Well, guess what, Stacey? Now you're sitting in a cell. Now you've been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. You have a preliminary hearing next week. I mean, if you're lying, karma's a bitch, right? And we know you've lied. We know that you've lied so many times. You're a habitual liar. You never stop lying. But the truth will come out. The truth will come out about what happened to Michael, who abducted Michael, and who killed him. Pin it off on everybody else, Stacey, but you are responsible. Start taking responsibility for what you had involvement in. Because I don't believe that your ass just sat around and just watched everybody doing something. It doesn't make any sense.
I knew he wasn't there. I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't going to be there. But I said it because apparently they...
And the only way he could know that Michael wasn't there is if he has some kind of knowledge, just like we talked about when we watched his confession footage, some kind of knowledge of where Michael was taken to after being buried in their yard. I'm so 50-50 on whether or not he knew Michael was buried in the yard, or does he have knowledge about also where Michael went? But how could he have communicated with anybody while incarcerated? And that's why I always go back to, there's just no way he could have known.
They were big and bad and thought they knew everything.
Right.
So, I wanted to give them a little taste of their own medicine, and they didn't find shit.
Was
they won't. There's nothing to show.
Was this right before the excavation, like that week prior?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you specifically just...
The week prior to the excavation are these dates that are on November 5th of 2022 at 12:55 a.m. when Stacey contacted Fruitland police. It is before they excavated that backyard when he again on November 10th, 2022, Stacey asked to speak to Fruitland police detectives. Stacey was the one who contacted Fruitland. They didn't just go into a cell and start interrogating him. Stacey wanted to talk to law enforcement. He wanted to give information to get a deal because he knew after all of the interviews and everything else. And then Sarah starting to throw him under the bus and everything, because don't forget, this is in November when he wanted to start talking to police. But now we know because of Sarah's probable cause affidavit that she spoke to law enforcement and they gave her a deal a month prior to Stacey not contacting law enforcement once, but contacting them twice to tell them what he knew. He knew Sarah had already threw him under the bus.
Blame it on everybody. Like, here, they did it. Go check it. Or
I
did
didn't
you just say
blame
he
any
was back
name.
there?
I didn't blame him. I just said he was back there. I
I
didn't blame
see.
any name.
Do you have any feelings about giving that false tip to police in regards to the parents of Michael Vaughn? Because I'm sure that that was a very stressful day
I
for
regret
them.
it. I regret it. 100%. But I was also tired of being interrogated and pressured and putting on the spot. Like I knew something, and I kept telling him a million times, I don't know anything. Have you spoke to my mom since yesterday?
No, I've been here the entire time.
Have you? Okay. Well, last night I was just going through a lot of mental stuff, and I told my mom.
And yes, he does. He uses his fetal alcohol syndrome all the time as an excuse. So does the creator that's helping him. You know what? You know right from wrong, Stacey. You know right from wrong, whether or not you have fetal alcohol syndrome or not. There are many people out there that have it, but they're not out kidnapping and murdering a child. Okay? And this again goes in with the fact that he knew it wasn't a false confession, because here he's talking about talking to his mom about this.
Anything. Have you spoke to my mom since yesterday?
No, I've been here the entire time.
Have you? Okay. Well, last night I was just going through a lot of mental stuff, and I told my mom that what I told you guys was a fable, but it wasn't. I was going mentally insane, reversing things in my head, worried about that I told you guys something wrong. But just if you guys talk to her, let her know that, you know, everything I've given you, I mean, the dogs are pointing to it and everything else, you know, so I mean, I've got you guys in the right direction.
I've got you guys in the right direction. He's given himself that pat on the back, like I am giving it all up. And in all actuality, he can't even comprehend, while he's given himself the pat on the back, that he is admitting to having knowledge of and knows about the death of Michael. And he's buried in that backyard. And he did not make a false confession. He wants law enforcement to tell his mom that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And he even admits here that the cadaver dogs even hit there. How does Stacey Wondra think that he's going to get off? Really? Like, how the hell does he think he's going to get off? He's not. He is not going to get off. Even if they can't prove that he physically kidnapped Michael, or can't prove, say, that he physically murdered Michael, he has so much knowledge, had the chance to talk to law enforcement, call 911, put a stop to it all. If he is this, you know, great guy that he claims to be, even though we've seen him be a monster, he had the opportunity to do what was right. He did absolutely nothing. And I do not believe for 1 second, not 1 second, that he didn't have hands-on involvement with the kidnapping and murder of Michael Vaughn. I believe out of all 4 suspects, him and Sarah are god-awful, violent people, and one of them are the one who hurt Michael, whether by accident or not, but he has involvement.
You're 10,000 million% positive he was back here in this backyard.
Yes. I mean, that's where Sarah had buried him.
Is there any reason why you would, because you will be asked why you would lie about that?
No, there wouldn't be any reason I would ever lie about that.
There wouldn't be any reason why I would lie about that. In this confession footage, you don't hear police coming at him. You don't see him breaking down. This isn't some interrogation done for days and days to the point of a false confession. He wanted a deal. He called law enforcement in. He cooperated. He's getting along with the police and the detectives and, you know, Chris Madonna here. That's it. That's all. Mama, my heart tells me the same exact thing. Brandy says, for some reason, my heart keeps telling me that he's the one who hurt Michael. I think everything that Stacey says everyone else did is exactly what Stacey did himself. That's my own opinion. That's not fact. That has not been proven to me. And in my heart, I feel that way. He's gut-wrenching. And Sarah Wondra is very, very violent. She has a criminal history of being very violent. She hit a guy in the head with a pew-pew and then hit it over at her mom's house. She has pulled out the pew-pews on several different people. She's a very violent person. And why is Stacey Wondra the only one who says he saw a kid? That's what makes me think that he's the one who took Michael there to the house. I don't know why. Again, that's not fact. That's me only speculating.
That, to my knowledge, that's where he was buried at.
How are you?
I'm here.
Feeling okay today?
And we don't have to go over the rest of that. You guys get the point. What I have been trying to make, for a little bit of last week and this week is that Stacey's own words, Stacey's own confession, him talking to law enforcement and everything else, we know he has involvement in taking Michael. We know that he has involvement in Michael's murder. Out of his own mouth, his own words. There's nothing anybody else can do to to fight that. There's not. And I don't think the attorneys are going to be able to fight that in court either. I mean, you use his own words. He is a monster. Listen to what he says he saw. And I think when they say you're going to trial, if Stacey Wondra knows anything else that he has not told law enforcement, I believe it will come out. Like maybe he's holding something in his little pocket here, like, okay, I got this last thing. And if I have to go to trial, I'm just going to give that up to see if I can still get a deal. And Brandy and the Vaughn family, they've already let these suspects know. If you guys just give me back Michael, like whoever comes forward and says something, I'll make sure you get a deal. And he knows that. And that's what I'm wondering, if he really folds with everything. But I'm not 100%. And does he know anything else? Does he know where Michael is? Does he know that unknown location? Is there anything else Stacey Wondra knows? And then, you just have to start deciphering what's true or not, because he's a liar, a habitual liar. Michael Joseph Vaughn is the victim. All four of these monsters want to play victim constantly, and they're not the victim. Stacey Wondra's rights were not violated. He wasn't interrogated to the point of a false confession. He says it in his confession footage. He says he's not. He even talks to Chris Madonna, and he says, Stacey, what's the one and only thing that we've ever wanted from you? And he said the truth. Chris Madonna's like, we've never pressured you, tried to convince you of anything. And he's like, nope. I mean, then you have Sarah Wondra, Adrian Lucien, and Brandon Shirtliff, all cowards. Sarah's going to deny till she dies. She does that just like her mom, Kay. Kay will protect her till the very, very end, and she knows her mama has her back. She just keeps saying over and over and over again, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I'm so sick and tired of knowing that that's all she wants to say. But she's getting released from prison, but right into the hands of law enforcement. Hi, babe. Hubby just got home. Live's almost over. Please go over to the round table for Monkey Monday. You've got Adrian Lucien and Brandon Shirtliff. They also want to play victims, and we know their involvement. There are people out there that have tips and the need to come forward. It's not too late. Just because hearings are starting and everything else, please, please, please call in your tip. If it's bothering you, Call it in. The tip line for Fruitland Police is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too big or too small. Please let law enforcement decide whether or not your tip is credible. They will look into everything. Fruitland is on top of it. And just like I said, just because hearings, are coming, doesn't mean you can't turn in the information that you have. You can be Michael's hero, the Vaughn family's hero. Like, all they want is Michael home so they can lay him to rest. Law enforcement just doesn't tell a family that they believe that Michael's passed if they really don't believe and or have evidence. What law enforcement agency is going to tell a family that their son is gone if they don't have proof? I cannot wait to be in court next week when the judge looks at Stacey Wondra and tells him, you're going to trial. There's enough evidence here, because I really believe that that's what's going to happen. I really do. Thank you guys all for coming in, for supporting Monkey, for supporting the Vaughn family. Thank you for being here, Mama. We really, really love you. We're so glad that you're here. Like Juniper is saying here, listen to how nice law enforcement is being to him. He doesn't sound pressured. He doesn't sound bullied. He's singing like a canary. Shaking my head. Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. And as we move forward here and hear the evidence and hear things, it's going to be a very difficult time. But at the same time, that evidence that's being brought forth, that's going to be letting this, because it's going to be all over the news. The news can go in and they can record and they can take pictures and they can report on it. I can come back here and report out of it. And then the other suspects, Adrian and Brandon, they're going to start hearing on the news what is being said in court. Maybe one of them will decide that it's finally time for one of them to come forward. The evidence is out there, you guys, or they wouldn't be going to court. You think that the district attorney's office is going to go to court to charge Stacey Wondra if they don't feel like they have enough evidence to charge him? They can only do this once. They got to have it all right. And the district attorney has been working on this for a long time, because it's almost been a year since he told Brandy, when Brandy told us the charges were coming, and everybody, we all waited for months and months and months. I thought you said the DA was going to press charges. Why isn't it coming? All being frustrated, but not as frustrated as the Vaughn family, right? But it happened, and charges came, and Stacey Wondra was arrested, and we know Sarah will be arrested. Brandy says here, they are not the victim. Their mental illness are not going to get them by either. They know right from wrong. They know what they did, and they are all going to face justice. And I'm going to end with that, because that is the truth. They have done wrong. They know they did it. They know what they've done. They may want to lie about it and may not want to talk the truth or tell where Michael is, but they know, and they have to live with this for the rest of their life. And karma is coming. Justice is coming. You're not going to get away with taking a 5-year-old boy, a 5-year-old Michael Joseph Vaughn, and think you're ever going to get away with it. It's not going to happen. Please continue to send prayers for the family. Next week's going to be very difficult. And again, in case you missed it, I'm able to go to Fruitland, Idaho, and I will be sitting right there with Brandy and the Bond family to show my support. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please go over for Monkey Monday over at the round table. I will not be able to join. Me and my husband are about ready to leave. I've got to go shopping to grab some stuff for my trip. But I love you guys. Thank you guys all for coming in.